Hi everybody, this is John with Jay Hunto's Garage. Just a quick tutorial on how to change a battery on a Ford Escape. Probably applies to all kinds of vehicles.
Look out!
Tools you're going to need to remove your battery. I've got a 5/16 box end and open end wrench, 10mm socket, deep well, 1/4 inch ratchet with a 5/16 socket. That's going to be for your battery cables. This 5/16 will be for the ones you cannot get the socket on. And I also have a 10mm just in case. So you just loosen your cables, remove them. This one's going to be tricky. I know for a fact this one is kind of stuck. So let's see what happens with it. Yeah, this entire post is moving inside the battery, and this is wet down here, so it kind of looks like we're leaking battery acid through that. That's a really good reason why to change this battery. Yeah, we've got to get this post off of this cable clamp off of that post without pulling the post out of the battery, hopefully. Now there's tons of precautions you need to be aware of before messing with your battery, because there is poison, basically sulfuric acid inside this battery, and I have heard of people tapping on these and the acid blowing up in their face. So just be aware of that. Although I've heard of it, I've never actually seen it. This is what happens when your battery clamp is on way too tight. It's actually mushroomed the post on the bottom. That's gonna be fun to get off. Definitely want to wear hand and eye protection when you're doing something like this. Batteries are no joke. Voila! So here's what can happen. You over tighten this clamp, and this clamp basically, just because the lead is so soft, it mushroomed the lead right here, which keeps the clamp from coming off. So over tightening is bad. With the clamps off, the battery's ready to come out. Okay, here's the new battery. You want to make sure the new battery is the same as the old battery. Most of the time these will come with plastic caps. One's black, kind of looks subdued that way. You want to take that off and do not install this with the cap on. That does happen, but you'll find out real quick because the battery won't work. Now I'm going to clean up these terminals and then apply some corrosion inhibitor on this guy. This is what I use to clean up the battery terminals. These are cheap, and this end is for your posts. Just want to run that around a little bit. Of course, it's probably easier to do it with the cap on. Like that, and like that. Just real quick. Now these, you want to clean up the contact surface. Make sure you get any corrosion or junk. This one's got all kinds of stuff in it. I really need to hit this one good with a different wire brush. But we're now done with this guy. Okay, with a real wire brush, just going to clean this up the best I can. top, bottom, sides, anywhere it's got corrosion. I want to get as much off as possible, although maybe impossible to get all of it, but we're going to put something on it, take care of that. Wire brushes, staple of any garage. Okay, so this is what I'm using today. It's battery terminal and cable protector. Helps you avoid battery failure, because if sometimes you'll see these with this big, I've seen large masses of corrosion just growing on this. If you pour Coca-Cola on it, it can be diet, it can be regular Coke, whatever. You pour that on it and it just completely eats it away. That's why this one looks like it does, because I did that recently. So now we just open this guy. And cover our cable as much as we, or yeah, our cable clamp. Cover it as much as we can. You can do the post with it as well. It's just dielectric grease. Gonna go ahead and hit the bottom of this too. Okay, so we've got the grease on both terminals. Go ahead and connect the negative first. Now I'm just going to tighten these snug. There is no reason for these to be so tight that it mushrooms the post. There, that's tight. You can't move it. Good to go. And this one, same. I have to got to reassemble the clamp first. If this is your first time on the channel, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching. Feel free to hit the subscribe button. There's all kinds of stuff on here that you'll probably find something either entertaining or helpful in maintaining your cars, or even just stuff that's kind of fun to watch, like car shows and other people's projects. Now, a really good idea would have been to have my bowl over here with the magnetic tray, my magnetic bowl, to put the bolt in, not to mention everything else, so I didn't have to go looking for it. And this is actually how this tightens, so I'm going to go ahead and adjust this a little bit because it's sticking up. Let's get that down where it ought to be. If we can. There we go. Okay. That looks better. So I'm going to go ahead and assemble this. Okay, to install this piece back in, this straddles the strap down that way. The wall of it faces the clamp. This slides down over top of it in a way that gives you a flat surface on the top, so you can put your nut back on and tighten. Okay, before tightening it totally, just want to make sure that you get your clamp on the post, get it snug to where it doesn't move. And there we are. It's not moving. This will, you want to make it as easy on yourself or whoever is going to change this. Worst case scenario on the side of the road, so you want to make it easy as possible to make sure that you keep that time you're stuck on the side of the road and frustration down to a minimum. Now next is the battery hold down, so just put this back on the way that it came off, Some of them, like this one actually, go on at an angle and there's only one way to put it on. We're just about done. I'm going to go ahead and put some more grease on these guys because I would like to keep the corrosion down to an absolute minimum. Check back on that in a month or two and see if the corrosion's coming back. That one's good. So now we can just put our hold down back on. Not too tight because you're clamping down a big piece of plastic basically. So you don't want to go too tight. I'm sure your owner's manual probably says something about that, but I doubt it says not too tight. The next things I'm going to be doing with this car is changing out the headlights. I like to go to a website called autoandart.com. They have really good prices, and I bought new headlights for my 99 Suburban, which I sold recently, and I bought new headlights for my 2006 HHR, which I also sold recently. I have playlists for all kinds of repairs that I've done on those, so feel free to check that out. For the purposes of this video, we are done. Make sure you clean up, don't leave any tools inside the engine compartment, and start it up, make sure everything works the way it's supposed to before you need to take it somewhere or hand it off to the customer. Which I just had in my hands. Do you see it anywhere? What am I missing? It's in my hand. Here we go.